Alright guys, welcome back to another video. As you can see in the background, I pulled off my daily wheels and tires. I'm going to clean up the rotors and calipers and re-clear coat both of those. You can probably see it's taped off, and then I'm going to clean inside and out and re-ceramic coat these. My car's under the cover. It's probably about 40 degrees in here, so I got a couple heaters running to kind of dry everything up. What kind of made me decide to make this video was I had a set of rollers that came on the car that I'm going to probably use for track or whatever. They've got brand new tires on them, but they're in horrible condition. The previous owner had black spray painted them. I had wet sanded them here and there, and then put a fresh layer of black spray paint on it. And I'll insert some pictures on kind of what I did to, I used a paint thinner. It's a citrus paint thinner. You brush it on and let it sit. That pulled off the spray paint, no problem. But I believe the factory gray that was underneath it is a powder coat of sorts. The reason I believe that is because the citrus paint remover like barely touched it, and I started grinding on them. I bought a sandblaster and it wasn't really that effective. So thankfully, for me, not so much for you, I have access to a massive roto blaster. So I'll throw some pictures in here after 15 seconds. It doesn't play around, powder coat or not. Normally you have to use a chemical process to remove powder coat, but this does not discriminate. If you literally left these wheels in there for any longer than a minute or two, you wouldn't have wheels. That's how aggressive this thing is. Totally industrial. So anyways, I'll throw a few of those pictures in there, and then I'm going to kind of catch up to what I've done so far. So this is the paint I'm going to use when I get my rollers back. It's kind of like a gunmetal, but with a metallic, so I'm pretty excited to see how that lays down on fresh wheels with no paint, no coating. Hopefully it goes good. This is the clear that I'm using on the calipers that I previously painted red in one of my videos. Using some Rust-Oleum black and this little brush to, I don't know if you can see it, but I already kind of touched it up. But these are powder coated, so anytime you put the key in, it's gonna tear the powder coating apart. And if you're pulling your wheels and tires off as much as I do, then you're gonna check up the edges and stuff like that. There's no way around it. I could have bought black lug nuts, and maybe I will, but these are a few of the things that I'm using to clean up the hub, clean up the calipers and rotors, the heavy duty degreaser, the Windex on the wheels, and the isopropyl, just getting those ready for ceramic coat. So I have my little space heater right here. I kind of masked it off. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I'm not putting such a thick layer on here that it's going to affect anything, but just freshening these up. I bought the kit from AutoZone, and it has a hardener in it, but the hardener is not the best. If you use any like heavy duty degreaser, it fades these or makes them pink. Fortunately, I always use pH balance cleaner on these wheels and tires, but on my Range Rover, I had to do what I'm doing now, and now I can pretty much use any cleaner I want. So just kind of freshening it up. Put 2 coats on that, and I'm letting it dry, and I'll go around and do all 4 of them kind of slowly. All right, and I'm also going to add, or did add, and will add on each lug nut the anti-seize, because they were pretty rusty, and I cleaned up the threads on each of them. I'm kind of doing a little touch up because they're powder coated, so you will nick them up. Doing a little touch up in here. The key for the lock nut, no matter what, it's going to grind in through that powder coat, and you get any kind of water on it, it's going to rust. So I use my drill with the attachment to clean the threads up. I've also got this differential for the small diff, and I made another scene and I would realize that I didn't have the bolts, so I just dug through the trash because I realized I threw those away. So that bolts to your diff at the bottom here with your factory bolts, retorque those, and then these Teflon bolts that I tried to throw away, or Teflon nuts and bolts going through the top of your frame here. You have to know what diff, if you have the small diff or the large diff. I actually saw another YouTuber do this, which he ends up costing me a lot of money at the end of the day, but I appreciate it. I also, I didn't record it, but I replaced my coolant hose with billet aluminum machined. That's kind of the direction I'm going for. This guy's right at the top half of your motor. You can see the seal right there, the rubber seal. It likes to bust in half right here. And this, unfortunately, is right above your serpentine belt, which anybody who has an N54, if this breaks, that coolant is going right on your belt. Your belt is getting sucked right into your motor, unless you have the crankshaft aftermarket bracket that you can find on eBay or wherever. It's literally just a fabricated bracket. Once you take off your pulley, which is plastic, and then I have this that I'm going to install later as well, maybe this winter with my bumper and a few other things. It's a billet pulley. So Euro parts, mine's the N54. Just peace of mind, you know what I mean? I don't want this shattering, the plastic one, so I'm gonna upgrade that. I didn't want that to break over time, which a lot of them are broken. Fortunately, mine wasn't, and I don't know why. Either way, and then I'm gonna get the crankshaft, the little part people sell on eBay. So when I replace this, I'll install that, put that on for peace of mind. I have that. Add that because I'm getting up in high horsepower. So just little bits, little things that I'm adding to increase the longevity of the motor and peace of mind for long runs. So, all right, so I've put 3 or 4 coats on this so far. I know my wheel wells are dirty. I probably should have put new shocks on there, but I will. So yeah, it looks pretty good. When I used the brake cleaner on this caliper paint, it did dull it out quite a bit, but the second you throw some good quality clear coat on it, it's back to the way it was originally. So obviously, in my opinion, wheel wells, and what you can't see mine much, thank God, because my car's lowered. You can just see a bunch of it now. When you're cruising along and your rotors and your calipers and the inside of your wheels just look brand new, that little detail right there is what separates you from the rest of the crowd, in my opinion. So a little rusty inside the bolt holes, but that's to be expected over time, I guess. Obviously you can see where the wheel seats, so you don't really need to do much beyond that. You don't really want to add thickness there. And then I kind of cleaned up the hub, so that way everything slid on there. So I have some Armor Shield. I've been using this stuff for years, so I have a few bottles here. It's a great product. I think it works. I've done my whole car. Not sponsored by these guys by any means. Wish I was. I use enough of it. All my vehicles have this on it. I have a previous video where I did my whole entire car, so check that out if you're interested. Great stuff, love the product. Redo my wheels, which they're pretty clean right now. You wanted to get them as clean as you possibly can before you install this stuff or apply this stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna get to that. It's pretty much wipe on, let it haze to like a rainbowy haze, and then dang, I just realized I got a few little imperfections here on my wheels, but they're never gonna be perfect. No matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you obsess over them, you just want them to look good at dusk and from a different distance, because that's all you can do. So you can see kind of a few color differences in here. Right around here, you can kind of see the difference. And I mean, this is the inside of the wheel, so you know, brushing it, as you clean it, things along those lines, dirt, debris, just is gonna get in here regardless. I mean, I'm pretty particular about my stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep it the best I can, and then if it bothers me too much, I'll just have them re-blasted and powder coated or whatever. So anyways, I'm gonna apply a layer and try to catch the difference and show you before and after. All right, this is the same location. You can see now that it's one even wet looking color. So I'm gonna let that kind of haze up and dry and set in, and then we'll buff it off and turn them around and do the hard part, which is the front. So while that's setting in, I kind of use the time as an opportunity to freshen this up a little bit. Nothing perfect by any means. I'm not going to worry about the shocks. I'll have those replaced later. So this, I don't know, put a little layer of paint on the frame there to make it look a little better. So these are drying up pretty good. I'll probably pull the masking off here before too long, and once that tire's ready to rock and roll, we'll reinstall it. So I coated this one, and it's pretty cold out, so I got my little space heater kind of pointing at it, not directly at it, and we'll give it probably twice as long as the dwell time as we did previously, but coming out pretty good. Obviously it's a lot shinier because it's got the ceramic coat on it, but at the end of the day, you'll get the effect that you're looking for. So after I reinstall these, I'll touch them up. You can see a little bit of rust in the key lock or whatever the heck it's called, bolt. That's gonna scar it up. So we'll touch them up with my little brush and my gloss paint, and they should look good. That's pretty much all you can do unless you replace them with non-powder coated or black, specific black or whatever. All right, that's what they look like wiped down. Obviously I'll wipe them down, the face of them one more time before I am completely done after I install them, but the barrel looks really good. It adds a layer of shine, honestly, and protectant to the wheel. So for the cleaning process, brake dust comes off extremely well. So I'll do a quick inspection of the tires, make sure they're good to go, nothing stuck in them, nothing along those lines, nothing looks out of the ordinary, and then reinstall it. So how good they came out, you can't really capture on this, but I mean, rotors, caliper, wheels, no lug nuts on yet, obviously, but I mean, it makes a huge difference in the finish. I mean, you can just, it adds depth. You can look in there and tell the difference from someone that doesn't have clean barrels or clean rotors or clean calipers or wheels. So yeah, it makes a big difference to me. Moving on to the front, just wanted to get this is what it looks like. It's more of a hazy red color after you get it cleaned up and you use the brake cleaner on it, because like I said, the hardener in it is not the best. So took the time to clean up my wheel wells, wheel arches, and gonna throw some clear down, and then I'm gonna throw some 303 inside there to kind of protect those. So the rear I didn't do that because it's got the fabric, but yeah, we'll throw some clear down and see what happens. All right, that's after one coat. And then something I wanted to add, although it's hard to see, previous owner, I don't know if he paid somebody to do the brakes, but they ripped him off because the brake sensor is twisted together and electric tape there. So I have these wheels and tires off enough to know when my brakes are gonna be coming. So anyways, just wanted to add that. Haven't done the 303 on the wheel wells yet, but just one quick layer and boom, it's shiny like brand new again. So I'll do probably 2 more, keep my little heater on this, and then ceramic coat the wheel and toss it on. All right, got my wheels back today. This one probably in the best condition. So I still have to go through, kind of flatten everything out, sand it up, and then wire wheel the barrel and all that stuff. So be a little bit of prep sanding, but they came out pretty good, bare metal compared to what they were. So probably focus most of my time on the faces of them, and the rest are just what they are. So all right, so this was probably the best one. They did the best job on this one. You can see, like right there, that's actually in the steel or casting or aluminum or whatever the heck these are. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. These are not showroom quality wheels. They are pretty much down to bare metal. I use 240 grit on the outer edge to kind of clean them up, because I have an 80 grit Tiger Paw that I'm using to get most of the heavy coating off. 80 grit's a little aggressive, but you just kind of float it over there. Use your kind of touch, your feel, and experience grinding. So that's what it looks after 80 and 240. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna leave the barrel. I just scuff those up. So, and I have some more sanding I'll probably do on these before I throw a coat of paint on them. And I'll show you here in a second what it looks like before the Tiger Paw and the 240. All right, that's what it looks like after the 80 grit Tiger Paw. If we can pick that up, the difference. It's literally taken off that heavy coating. I mean, you can see what it looks like here. And I got a mask cap on. It's about the only thing a mask is good for. So anyways, and then I made my DeWalt buffer work for the 240 grit. So yeah, not gonna be perfect, but be a hell of a lot better than they were. All right. Each one of them is in a different form, I guess you could say, when it comes to the sanding, but close enough for me. So we will prep them by cleaning them and warm up the paint in hot water and start spraying them. All right, well, I just put my first layer of a primer coat on them. This one's sitting right here. It's gonna be far from perfection, but it's gonna be a million times better than they were. So we will see. So wheel paint I'm using, coming out looking really good in my opinion. This is where I'm at so far. They're not perfect, but they look amazing compared to what they did. I'm gonna have to do, I got a little bit of fisheye, but I'm gonna let these dry and then sand them similar to, I noticed a few sanding defects on this one, especially like I've corrected it, but right there, and then you can see kind of some distortion in the actual wheel. A few grinding marks and a few spots I could have prepped a little bit better, but still need to put a few more coats. I'm probably going to grab 3 more cans to do the barrels, and you can see it, like when it hits the surface, it does like this cool thing where it looks like it's kind of etching in there, and it does fill some of the voids. So I don't know, I might keep putting a few more coats on them to see if I can get the finish better and better and make up for the small sanding marks and bad prep on my part. But like I've said a few times, I want them to look good, but they're just a spare set of wheels. I plan on using them winter. My buddy has a few of my buddies have BMWs, so if they want to get their actual wheels that they're going to run during the summer done, these are a good set of wheels to kind of let all your buddies use to throw on theirs for the meantime. But yeah, coming out super good. I like them anyways. All right, ran into town to do some Christmas shopping. It's pouring down rain here, so we took the Cummins, dropped my wheels, the rims off to my boy at Les Schwab, and he hooked it up, mounted, balanced, new valve stems, everything. They came out super good for a set of rollers or just a spare set of tires and wheels. They came out amazing. Well, that concludes this video. Please like and subscribe and comment. I'm trying to grow this channel. If this helped you at all, any of this information, please like and subscribe. Like I said, I appreciate everything. I'm going to be uploading another video replacing the air ride compressor on my Range Rover. So like I said, like and subscribe. I got a lot more coming. I got a lot of parts coming for the BMW. I paid for all this myself. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.